Welcome to the Arlington County tutorial for how to complete and submit an elevator permit application. To begin using the system, you will need to register and obtain an account. To start, go to your internet browser and type in building.arlingtonva.us. When you get to our main website, go to the search and enter E-Plan Review Help. When you get to this page, you want to scroll down to where it says E-Plan Review Guidelines and Help. On this page, in the first paragraph, you'll see E-Plan. Click on E-Plan, and you'll be brought to the page where you can register your account. Once you complete registering your account, you'll sign in. When you sign in, you'll be asked to enter your username and password. When you sign in, the first thing you will see is the project screen. On this screen, it will list all the projects you have created, submitted, or are waiting for processing. The next step you'll do is you'll go to the Start New Project. Select your review type. You'll click on the arrow, scroll down to Trade Permit Elevator. You'll then click on the Add Project button. When you get to the Add Project button, it will take you directly to the application. The first thing on the application is going to be your E-Plan username. This is a name you created when you registered your account. The next section is the project information. This is where you will give us information about what you're doing. It'll ask you questions to determine whether it's associated with a building permit or whether it's a residential or commercial property. This question will ask you, is it associated with a building permit? On every field that you see a box on the side, that means that it's a drop down and there's a pick list for you to select from. If you have a building permit associated with this, you'll click on yes, and you'll then be asked to provide the building permit number. Every field that has a red asterisk on it, this indicates that it is a required field and information must be put into this field. For this permit, we're going to say we do not have a building permit associated with this work. Your next question is the work in a building that is residential 3 stories or less above grade and contains no more than 2 dwelling units? If this is a single-family home or a duplex, you would click on the drop box and put yes. In this case, we're going to select no. Is the work in a building that is residential and the work is located within 1 individual dwelling unit? This question is specifically for multifamily dwellings that are considered commercial properties, but they are residents. In this case, we're going to say no. You're going to be asked, who is the permit holder or the person that's going to be responsible for this work? In the drop-down, we have contractor, property owner, or tenant. I'm going to select contractor. So next I'm going to scroll down to the job address section. This will be the address of where the work will be taking place. So I'm going to complete these fields. This question will ask you if you have information about the year of code that the building you're working in was constructed, you'll enter it here. If you don't know where that is, you do not have to fill this out. The next section is for contractor information. As you see here, I stated I was going to be the permit holder. I'm the contractor and I'm going to be the permit holder. So in that case, I'm going to be required to put in my contractor information. Whenever you see a field that is red, filled in red, that means that it's a field for required information and it must be completed. Because I have not put any information in these fields, it is showing up red that is incomplete and needs to be filled in. The first thing you need to put in is your contractor name. This will be the name that you have registered on your DPOR license, which is the Department of Professional Occupational Regulations. And this is the department that issues all contractor licenses. So I'm going to fill this in. And this is where you put your license number. And this will be the license type. As you see here, there's a handle on the end of the field. So it's a drop down you can select from. You'll always be asked for your Arlington County business license. You will also be required to upload a copy of that license when we get to the required documents. The next field will be your legal owner information. You will always be required to enter the legal owner information. If you're not aware or have the information for who the legal owner is, you can go to our website, which is listed here, put in the address, and obtain the legal owner information. This information is required, so if you don't have it, we've given you a place to go and get the information. So I'm going to fill this in. And now we're going to go to the cost proposal and classification of work area. The classification of work is the work that you're doing, whether it's an installation, modernization, repair, or decommissioning. Here's a drop-down list that says all the types of work you can put in here. So you want to select from that. If you're unsure, the definitions are right above the field. In this next field, you put in a brief description of what you're doing. You will be asked later for a more detailed description of the work you're doing. In this case, I'm going to say I am installing one dumbwaiter. Next, I'll be asked for the estimated construction costs. The estimated construction cost would be what is listed on your contract or your maintenance agreement. This must agree with the amount that's listed there. You will be required to upload a copy of that contract or maintenance agreement for verification. This question asks, will the work increase the power that is currently being used for the electrical system? Here's a drop down of yes or no. If I were to select yes, I will be asked to provide the electrical permit number. If you don't have the number, it doesn't stop you from moving on. However, you will be informed from the help text that you will need to obtain this electrical permit. For this application, I'm going to say no. This is where you list the quantity of work you're doing. It should match whatever you put in your brief description. As I stated here, I'm only doing one dumbwaiter, which is one piece of equipment. In this next section, which is the specialty questions, this is where you'll detail the information about the equipment you will be working with. Here's a drop down for the equipment type. And as I stated, I am doing one dumbwaiter. All of the questions here are related to a dumbwaiter. Depending on what type of work you're doing or the equipment type, the questions will vary based on that. For instance, escalators here, hydraulic, inclined chairlift, traction, vertical platform, and wheelchair lift. We're doing a dumbwaiter, so I'm going to be required to put in information for all of the questions that are listed here. Equipment ID would refer to how you would recognize the equipment you're working with. It may be dumbwaiter number 2, it may be dumbwaiter number 1. It could have a number or a name. Dumbwaiter lobby. In this case, I'm just going to put 1. And we're going to go through, you have to put the travel height. And as you can see here, it's asking you to put it in feet. Number of floors being traveled. Number of floors being serviced. The cab interior length. This would be feet and inches. Same for cab interior height, feet and inches. Cab interior width, feet and inches. The weight capacity would be in pounds. The next question is there a sump pump provided? If the answer is yes, you'll be asked to enter the electrical permit and the plumbing permit that will be used for the sump pump. This is not required at this time, so if you do not have the permit numbers, you do not have to fill those in. It will not prevent you from completing the application. For this permit, I'm going to say no. Next is your machine type. You'll make the selection of the machine type. Next is motive power, and then the voltage. You'll see many fields that have asterisks beside them, which means they are required. However, if there's not an asterisk there, it's not required. So as you see with this one, motive power voltage, it's not a required field. However, if you do have the information, you should put it there. Okay, equipment manufacturer, model number, motive amps, power, speed, lower service floor, upper service floor. We're asking you for material, hoist, governor, hoist, number of ropes. These fields are not required. However, if you do have that information, you can select from the drop-down. So we've completed all the information for the one equipment that I'm installing. If I had additional equipment to list, It says here you can please use the Add button at the top of the section to enter any additional equipment. Now, when we look at the screen, we see an Add button here, and we see an Add button here. However, if you're adding additional equipment, you should use the Add button that is on the bar that says Specialty Questions. When I click on the bar where the Add button is, it will create another detailed information screen for me to complete for the additional information or additional equipment. So you'll need to continue to hit the button to make sure you fill in information for each piece of equipment you have stated you will be working with. If when you're working with this field and you decide or you see that the information you put in is incorrect or you want to start over as far as putting information in, you'll simply click on this Remove button here. That will remove the screen, and then you can go back, add another, and then enter the information that you need to put in. So we've completed all the information for the equipment I'm going to be installing. The next section is the certification. In this section, this is where you're certifying that the information you've entered above is accurate. To do that, you'll just hold down your tab button and you'll sign it using the cursor. Apply your signature. This section will include the information about the person that is actually completing the application. This applicant information is the information you would use when you register, and it'll give you the option to put in the information for the different roles of the people that are going to be accessing the application or entering the application. And this information is required. This last question will ask you to select the role that you're performing for the project. So for this application, I'm going to say I am the contractor that's completing the application, as well as the contractor that I'm going to be the permit holder. If I was not the contractor and I was given permission to complete this application, I would get a notice down here advising me of the documents I will be required to upload, because I'm not the contractor, but I'm also not the owner. So if the contractor is not the person that is completing the application, there's going to be additional information required. If there's a difference between the permit holder and the person completing the application, we ask for additional documentation to verify that. I'm going to go back and change this to contractor. And the last section of the application is where I am initialing that I'm aware that if the permit is issued and I have not had an inspection or have not completed this process within 6 months, the permit will expire. The application will expire if I don't complete it within 6 months also. So I'm going to initial here. At this time, I can scroll back, review the application just to ensure that I've completed everything. Once I've done that, I'm going to click on Save Progress and Return Later if I decide that I'm not ready to upload my documents and complete the process. Since I am, I'm going to add the project. So my project was added successfully. If I missed any fields or didn't complete the correct information, I would get a notification that tells me I need to go back and fill in that information. And the way I would know, it would be red the way it was in the contractor section when I initially started this application. Once the project is added, you'll see the project ID, as well as any other information about the project. When you come back to this, when you initially open it up and you see your project screen, this will be listed as your project. The next step is going to upload your documents. So we're going to click on Plan Documents. This will tell you what documents are required that you must upload. You may have additional documents. You can always upload all the documents you need, but these documents must be uploaded or you cannot move forward with the application. I'm going to click on Browse. It's going to take me to my computer. I'm going to select 3 PDF documents. The documents you upload must be in PDF. These are the documents. It's going to ask you to select the discipline and the sheet type for each document. The discipline would be the discipline that's listed here, and this is the sheet type. When you click on the arrow, you'll get a drop down, and you'll select whether you're doing the discipline of an application document or trade elevator. We're first going to select application document, and our required sheet type is the Arlington County Business License. The next will be the application document, and our sheet type will be the contract or the maintenance agreement. In this case, I'm going to have a contract so that I am sure of what document I'm looking at. I'm going to put in a description for myself that this is a contract and it is not a maintenance agreement. I'll next select the trade elevator. My sheet type will be construction drawings. So as you can see, I've entered all of the documents here that are listed as required here. And next I'm going to upload the documents. I'll always get a message or a warning to ask me if I'm sure that I've uploaded all the documents I need to upload. I'm going to click on yes. And I'll get a status here that lets me know the documents were uploaded successfully. Now I'm ready to submit. I'll go here, click on the Select Submit for Review button, and I'll always get a chance to read the notification to make sure I'm ready to submit. Once I submit and it's accepted, I cannot make any changes until I hear back from the permit specialist that will be reviewing it for a completeness check or the plan reviewer. So I'm going to click on Submit. I get a notification that my application has been successfully submitted. I'm going to click on OK. And I've now completed the process. I've completed my application and I've submitted it for review. I'm going to go to the project screen. Now I have a lot of projects listed here, but this is the one we just worked with. This is the identifier here, or the project ID, and this is the status of it here. As the status changes, you'll be able to see that on your project screen. Whenever you open up the application and you go to your account, you'll see the status here for all of your projects. And this concludes the tutorial for how to complete and submit an elevator application for permit. If you have any questions, you can always contact us by email via isdelevators@arlingtonva.us, or you can call our office at 703-228-3232.